Welcome to this explainer. We're diving straight into a massive trap today, Total Duration IOA versus Mean Duration-Per-Occurrence. It's a brilliant little scenario that absolutely wrecks countless students when they're operating under pressure. But stick with me, because by the end of our time together, you're going to be able to spot this trap from a mile away.
Okay, so picture this. The exam creators absolutely love to throw this bait out there. They give you a scenario where two observers are assigned to track a behavior across a 60-second window. Both observers record a total duration of exactly 30 seconds. So you crunch the numbers and it yields a mathematically flawless 100% total duration IOA. You see that perfect score, you mark the data as highly reliable, and you confidently move on to the next question, right?
No way! You just took the bait, fell for the illusion, and lost those points on your exam. And hey, don't sweat it if it feels counterintuitive. It is literally designed to be. You relied on the final math, which sure is flawless, instead of questioning the actual clinical reality hiding behind that math.
Let's break this down. Section 1. The 100% agreement illusion.
We really need to investigate why this perfect score is a total mirage. To understand the trap, imagine our 60-second observation window plotted out on a timeline. Let's look at the shifts. Observer 1 logs the behavior continuously from second 1 all the way to second 30. Then, observer 2 takes over and logs the behavior continuously from second 31 to second 60.
Now, because both of them technically logged exactly 30 seconds of behavior, the formula spits out a perfect 100% agreement. But here's the catch. That beautiful perfect number is completely hiding a fatal error. It's a remarkably sneaky trap designed by the test makers to catch you running on autopilot. The math works out perfectly on paper, but the reality of what actually happened in that room is completely disjointed.
Section 2. Unmasking the temporal flaw.
Let's do a quick autopsy on this scenario. When you stack observer 1's raw logs right up against observer 2's, the devastating truth just jumps out at you. They never actually observed the behavior at the exact same time. Observer 1 recorded it occurring continuously for the first 30 seconds. Observer 2 recorded it for the last 30 seconds. There is absolutely zero temporal overlap between what observer 1 saw and what observer 2 saw.
This perfectly exposes the fatal limitation of total duration IOA. It's got a massive blind spot, guys. It only cares about macroscopic totals. It sees 30 seconds and 30 seconds, divides them, gets 100%, and literally stops asking questions. It completely fails to confirm if your observers were actually tracking the exact same instances of the behavior. If observer 1 saw an instance in the morning and observer 2 saw a totally different instance in the afternoon, total duration IOA wouldn't even know the difference.
And because of that blind spot, what you're left holding isn't reliable clinical data, it's actually a massive data artifact. A data artifact is basically a huge distortion. It happens when those macroscopic totals mask the reality that observers are tracking totally different instances of behavior. And the direct result of this artifact? Severe overestimation bias. We trick ourselves into believing we have tight agreement on a behavior's duration, when really, we just have two people recording completely different events that happen to add up to the exact same total number.
So, how do we solve this? Section 3. The clinical engineering fix.
Now that we found the cause of death for this faulty data, here is exactly how you engineer your way out of the trap. Step 1. When you're dealing with wildly variable behavior lengths, you have to pair frequency with duration per occurrence. By calculating the mean duration per occurrence, you anchor the duration to specific individual instances of the behavior. It actually captures the true clinical layout. Step 2. If high-rate behaviors force you to use a discontinuous interval system, you've got to shrink those interval blocks down to 5 seconds. That drastically cuts down the margin for error and totally kills that overestimation bias.
Our source material firmly reminds us of this, and I really want you to lock this into your brain. Discriminative mastery is what passes this exam. It is not just about memorizing definitions or formulas. Discriminative mastery means knowing exactly when a tool like Total Duration IOA fails, understanding exactly why it fails, and having the clinical engineering chops to fix it right on the spot.
So I'm going to leave you with this thought. The next time you encounter mathematically perfect agreement, whether you're out in the field on a clinical run or sweating it out under the intense pressure of your exam, take a step back and ask yourself, are you looking at a reliable clinical reality or just another data artifact waiting to trap you? Don't just trust the illusion. Dig into the raw logs, uncover the artifact, and apply the right clinical fix. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep sharpening those discriminative skills.